Good evening, guys. It's welcome back to my channel. It's Jenny here from Just Jenny Journaling. It's a video tonight. I'm going to do the first flip through of this series, of this collection I've been working on, Out and About, Here and There, and This and That. It's custom order, really, the remit for this, filled with all things English as a gift for Michelle to give to her friend to take back to France. So I've completed them. Thank you for joining me on my journey as we've gone through. And she's chosen Out and About as the one that she wants, which she'd like. So that's going off to her tomorrow. So I have This and That, which will be going to my Etsy, into the Etsy store. And Here and There will be going to Etsy. So I thought what I'd do very first of all is basically just go through or do the flip through of Out and About before it goes off to meet Michelle tomorrow. So Out and About, as you can see, this was the Reader's Digest cover, which they're lovely. I never seem to be able to find very many where I live. I know lots of other people find beautiful ones, but this was a Lorna Doone. And I've just covered it in lace and vintage fabric and left, I've tied it with a mixture of two laces that sort of coordinate. And if you can see, I've left the design basically on there. And that was the little gold plate around it. And I've just covered it in lace. The spine's covered in lace as well. This is the largest, I think, just slightly, of the three books. They all have 3 signatures in them, and they all are based on things that are English. So the first signature of each of them all has English cities, counties and towns and things, and the second one is a Jane Austen themed signature, and the third one I had to combine in the end because I was going to do 4 signatures initially, but pared it down to 3. So the third signature is basically florals and birds, hopefully English ones. So first and foremost, I just have a pocket. I've kept it quite simple, but I've done this beautiful lace as the pocket, and in here I've actually just popped in some journaling cards. You saw me, I don't know if you can see that, with the London stamp on it, and basically it's quite neutral inside, so that pops in there. Have a vintage postcard, that's of Holden, 1939. That's from my new stash of nostalgia postcards. Sorry about that, can you see? So that's in the beginning, and also it's a little painting, and I've got a little address book in my stash that has lots of different paintings in. And that's of London Bridge. Is it Tower Bridge? Can never remember which bridge it is. And so we start off with a little vintage poster of London, and the other half of that, because it was a double spread, the other half of that is in the centre spread here. I've sort of embellished with lace and lots of fabric and beautiful little bead dangles on all the different tabs. So you've got like a vintage fabric kind of feel to it with the paper, and also that is vintage fabric as well that I've actually just stuck on with some lace. Vintage fabric tab, what am I doing here? Vintage fabric tab with a dangle. I don't know if you can see the dangle without knocking the camera. Okay, some glass bead dangles, there you go. This is scrapbooking paper, which is gorgeous. Tea-dyed paper, and some basic book, an English poetry book that I featured, which is beautiful, full of English poems, believe it or not. So I popped some of those in, tea-dyed, and the vintage posters that were in that book as well have gone in. I just love them. I love the colours. So there's all the poetry, if you can see, dangle on there. Done some collaging, basic collaging with the, what's the word? It's a book featuring what you can do with vintage fabrics, and that was just one of the pages. If you can see that, so I've just done some collaging in there. Bit of stamping, sort of a little suitcase that has all the different towns, cities on it. London's one of them at the top there. Bit of a worry, my screen seems to have a little yellow triangle in it. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm hoping this comes out all right. A things to do sheet, double sheet, doily, grid paper with the London, Tim Holtz London stamp on it. You can see that. And a tea-dyed sort of journaling page. A book I have on Victorian gardens, which is absolutely gorgeous. And I've used in different projects over the last few months as well, but it sits so well in this particular journal. Music paper, little journaling spot tipped in. I'll just take that one to bits. If you watch the video, I've done a little video on share when I was preparing these. Basically just rounding the corners and inking the edges, and they're tea dyed. And this was from the Works, a little pad, and you can do it with all sorts of papers really. Music paper, and I picked up some vintagey postcards from a local little antique place. This is, I can't even say it, but it's actually in Wales, and that one is from Wales as well, and I'll pop that back in. Basically, collage again. It almost looks like fabric, which I quite like, but it hasn't got the bulk. This book is a vintage book with different counties, all about English counties. Black and white book, and what's interesting about this is that these have changed since this has been printed. So there's no Rutland, Oxfordshire, and I think Berkshire have changed because yeah, the borders have changed on that since this. But anyway, it's a lovely little book. It's really quaint, and it's got some little interesting little facts in it. And as the lady was actually in Oxfordshire, there's some little interesting little points in there for her to look back on. Some music paper, tea dyed, stamped. Basically that's the little journal, the tea dyed small paper block, which was printed on, and I tea dyed it, and I thought it looked really pretty. Some washi, that's the centre spread. There we go. And that's, I just love these black and white sort of, well, not paintings, what are they, ink drawings, line drawings of, oh, different counties. I always try, don't I? Yeah. Always risk, sorry. That's Waterloo Bridge from the Embankment. This was from the little stash of vintage cars that I picked up recently, and that's Stratford-upon-Avon from 1952. Shakespeare country, very different angle. And this is it Chatsworth? Belton House near Grantham. It looks a bit Downton, doesn't it? And I'll pop that in there, and that's the Lakes of North Wales. Pop those in there. A little dangle on the lace there. Best hurry this through, as we're at 9 minutes already. Paper, what's the word? Music paper with the washi, and that beautiful image of this little girl in her garden from my Victorian garden book. It is a beautiful, beautiful book. So washi, poetry, vintage poster, which I love, Good English Hospitality from William Blake. I must admit I'm not very good on poetry. I just love this. I love the way these have turned out. This is a lovely, lovely paper. And that's the end of that signature. And I popped some fabric and lace on the back of this one. So this, the second one is the Jane Austen, sorry, signature, because it's that's quintessentially English literature. And this is a painting, I think, that Cassandra, her sister, did of her. And I've just popped it with some lace. And I've tea dyed this sort of, if you can see how the design on the back of that writing set. It was a charity shop find, but it's come up really lovely tea dyed. A little cutout of her novel Sense and Sensibility. And this is the first spread. Oh, let's see where that goes to. I'll show you if I can. It's of Bath. Is it the Royal Crescent in Bath? About the glare. Let's see if I can move that so it's not so glary. So that was in the book about her, about Jane Austen, because as an adult, they moved from Hampshire, from the little, is it Steventon, to Bath. This is from Persuasion, an 1897 illustration edition. Lots of room for journaling, as well as lots of lovely things to look at. Tea-dyed paper, music sheets, bit of stamping, a little bit of this book that I've picked up, which is to do with old English furniture, and it just adds interest. A little poem about Oxford. Grandfather clock cases, I think that's lovely. And I popped them, if you can see just how lovely that little bead sits on there. And if you can see it. Make sure I'm still in frame. Okay. I love this. I love this painting. So there are in each of the books, there are, let me see, let me work it out again. I did 50 sheets, the 25 sheets, double them over, that's 50, 15 each signature. So 15 each signature folded is 100 and, is 50, yeah, 150 altogether, 150 pages altogether. So that would be 300 front and back, 300 pages front and back, okay, to write on. And that's, I've made sure I've done it the same for each. Each of the journals has the same. The layout is the same, although the pictures are slightly different. Love the way, I don't know if you can see how that little vintage. And I've basically taken vintage jewellery, necklaces and bracelets to pieces, deconstructed them to use in our fine little dangles. I don't know if you can see that, how beautiful that is. Michelle was really drawn to all the blues and the florals in this. I love that. Miss Dashwood, I entreat you to stay. I don't know if you can see. Love that one in frame, how lovely that is. And it's an old map of Bath in here that can be taken out and looked at. I've pinned that in as a bit of interest for that one. If you can see, if I can keep it still, just how beautiful the bead is on that one. Last signature on this one now is the floral, and here we go. Lots of Edith Holden in this, which I love, and the chintz. This is called To Meadows, this poem, and I thought it was quite apt. English Wildflowers by a lady called Elizabeth Jennings. I thought it was a really nice poem to pop in here. This is from the Royal Horticultural Society diary I picked up recently. Really pleased with that. A little this little poem about blackberrying, And then on the other side they had a beautiful image, and I also found another book, a little country diary book with a blackberry page on it, and I just thought that looked really nice, so I popped it in. It's got birds, a bit of Tim Holtz, a little folder, not folder, what's it called, a little, there you go, let's pop that in there. And this beautiful chintz, I'm so excited about it. I know we'll go on about it, but I've popped a little bit of that chintz in each of the journals. English oak tree from my tree book, and just some note paper. I thought this has a little idea of when she's out and about, almost looking at different things, going out on her nature walk, just popping these little notes in. Bit of Edith Holden there. A little bit of the tree book, which I think is lovely. It's just torn out like you would and popped in. A little bit of washi that I've got. It's all about writing, really, like a vintage correspondence type design. Observer's Book of English Birds, pop that in there. A bit of Edith Holden. This is the centre spread, which is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, if you can see that. Daffodils. And I love the blue of these birds' eggs on the back. And I've kind of tried to do it so this is layered. So you've got your little pocket here, which I should pop something in. Your pocket here of your birds. I don't know if you can see how that lies, but I'm so pleased with it. A little bit of chintz on the back as well, just a slightly different angle of the design. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. And my next project will be the January Traveller's Notebooks, which I'll be using the nature notes of the Edwardian Lady book with vintage florals. That's going to be the theme. So what have I popped in there? A little bit of, yeah, just a little bit of note paper in there, if you can see. Vintage postcard. Now this one I think is Wales, is it? Yeah, it's Wales. A little bit of Tim Holtz, and I've basically backed it onto this little tab. I thought that looked quite nice, really, just for a bit of interest. This is beautiful. It's the other side of that. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And there you go. A hand in the bird. That's a play on the words, isn't it? And a bit of Edith Holden at the end with a little bead, and upholstery fabric I think I picked up, which is lovely. I've just popped it in with green staples. A little bit of scrapbooking paper with this lovely, very sort of delicate gold. Now the lace isn't vintage, I must specify that. It's not vintage, the lace is all new, but the fabrics are. Okay, that's the last signature, and there's something, pocket in there, and a little bit of sort of chintzy type paper, and then it ties together, all ties together with, I've doubled up on the lace here because I couldn't decide which one I liked, and then once I'd seen them both together I thought, you know what, they go really nicely with both the dark lace and the softer blue of the cover. So there you have it, guys. It's out and about, which will be going off to her new home tomorrow. And the next ones I'm going to share with you after this that will be for sale are here and there, and this and that. And just to say that these will be, I'm going to do a 3-day sale, 3 or 4 day sale over this weekend, and these will be available in my Etsy sale this weekend, just for a few days. So if you want to go and have a look, please feel free. Take care, guys. See you soon. Bye.